Bonjour, in this episode we go from this to this. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs and welcome to episode 87 of my photography, Lightroom and Photoshop tips. My name is Serge Ramelli. I'm a French photographer living in Paris. Last week I showed you how to use the website PhotoThink to create amazing 3D walkthroughs with your photos. If you didn't get a chance, check it out. You'll see it's pretty awesome stuff. This week, I'm not only going to show you some really cool tricks with Lightroom on retouching of photos I took with Scott Kelby in the Mont Saint-Michel. That's the before photo, and that's the after. But one thing is, a lot of people don't have Photoshop, and so they have a hard time with Lightroom to erase some specific elements. As you know, I'm involved in this incredible photographic kit called the 5-Day Deal, which is an amazing photography kit with over 1,700 worth of tutorials, ebooks, textures, and software. And part of this package, you have this software called Snapheal, which I'm going to use with Lightroom to erase some elements. So let me show you how I do this. Alright, so before we get started, I just want to remind you that there is actually it says here 3 days, but probably by the time you're going to see this video, it's going to be 2 days left on this huge 5-day deal that I've been participating with. And and it has a relation to what we're going to be doing today on the tutorial, because one of the many things, I remind you that there's 1,500 worth of texture software, tutorials, ebooks that you can get for $89. But for example, there is a software called Snapheal, which you get once you buy when you buy the package, and I'm going to use that that little software today as part of our tutorial. So also just to remind you, if you want to get the raw file we're going to be retouching, make sure you go to news, sign up for my newsletter. All right, so Lightroom, this is it. This is the photo I want to retouch. This was a photo taken a couple of years ago when I was in the Mont Saint-Michel with the famous Scott Kelby, which you can see here. And I just love that shot. This place is amazing. It's like an island, and you have the water that goes out and comes back like 3-4 times a day. The only problem is that all the sand you see here around becomes quicksand. So me and Scott really got scared because we almost got taken into the quicksands. But anyways, we got a few shots, and this one I think can be a good shot. But I want to show you how I retouch it because there's a few funny tricks in it. So first of all, I open up the shadows, you know that by now, and I bring down the highlights, okay? That's to get some more details. Now the whole photo is not too bright, so I'm going to do my whites and blacks. So I press the Alt key and move the black slider to the left until I see some stuff going on. Yeah, something like that, that's kind of cool. Make it dark. And the whites, I go to the right until I see some lights, and then I back it down. Okay, then I take a decision. I think that the overall photo is too bright, so I'm gonna lower the exposure. I want to make drama. You know, I love drama, so I'm gonna lower the exposure, something like that. All right, and I'm gonna add some clarity to make it pop even more, and I'm gonna change the white balance to shade. And it's not even enough because shade is a warmer white balance. I'm going to add some yellows, and I'm going to add some magenta. Until I get the colors that I like. I like that, make it a lot warmer. Okay, then let's continue, let's move on. Let's check the noise. I don't think there's much noise in this photo, but yeah, a little bit of noise. So I'm going to do like 20 on the noise. And I have this formula. Whenever I do 20 on the noise, I take 100 in sharpening, and I take the 20 off. Because sharpening brings back the noise. That's why I'm doing this. Luminance, what it does, it takes out the noise, but it blurs a bit the photo. And when you do the sharpening, it's going to sharpen the photo, but it's going to bring back some noise. Okay, one thing that's very important whenever you do sharpening is to use the masking. So press the Alt key and you mask. You move to the right. Anything which is black is not going to get sharpened. You don't want to sharpen the sky. You only want to sharpen details. So something like that is good. This way you've got a very soft sky and a very detailed photo. Okay, then I'm going to enable profile correction, remove chromatic aberration because there's a little bit. I remind you that chromatic aberration is little, you know, red and green fringes that you have around the leaf or around borders. Like for example, here there's a bit of a red fringe. If you click on that, yeah, it usually takes it, yeah, it took it out completely. So that's pretty cool. Okay, last but not least, the beautiful new function in Lightroom 5, upright. I click on auto and look at this, boom. Look, off and on. It's just gonna make the photo leveled properly. All right, then the sky is way too bright. So I'm gonna take the gradient filter and I'm gonna make a filter, okay? And I'm gonna lower the exposure, something like that. Now the problem is that, and that's one thing that happens, as I lower the exposure, it's kind of cool. I like the sky, it's becoming, you know, pretty nice. The only thing that I don't like is that now the church is very, very dark. So, well, I can back this down. I can make this, yeah, something like this. I don't have to make it the whole way. Okay, maybe a bit darker like this. That's kind of nice. Now, one thing you can do that helps a little bit is to open up the shadows in the gradient. If I open up the shadows, it's gonna slightly, very slightly relight the church. Let me show you before. Just look at the church and after. It's very little, but it does a little bit, okay? Not that much, but it does a little bit. We need to do more. I'm gonna lower the exposure a bit. And now the church, especially the top of the church, is too dark. Now this is where the brush comes in handy. Okay, I'm gonna take a brush and I'm gonna press the Alt key to reset all the settings on the brush, right? I'm gonna zoom in on the church. Now, that's one thing I never showed in any video, I think, that I wanna show you today, and that, because I don't use it often, but you see, I want to relight the top of the church. The problem is that if I just, you know, put on some exposure and start painting, what's gonna happen is that, I'm doing it a bit too much on purpose, is that I'm gonna paint over the sky. You know, even if I'm very careful, you know, it's gonna make some like, I'm pressing the Alt key, the Alt key becomes an eraser. And you know, it's really hard because it's just gonna make hollows around the church. So let me erase that and let's redo it again. Now, I'm gonna use the auto mask function. The auto mask function, I have the exposure, and the way it works is all you have to do is make sure that your brush, you know, this is the church, and you see there is a plus. You have to make sure that the plus, the middle of the brush, is on what you want to brighten. Now, I just want to brighten the top of the church. Now look at this, I'm painting, and it's just brightening the top of the church. It's not brightening the sky. It's not making the hollows as we used to have, you know. I just want to bring back details in the church. All right. Okay, check this out. Before the brush stroke, after the brush stroke. We brought back the light on the church and without touching on the skies, which is cool. Okay, let's go lower and let's continue. Let's make a new brush and let's add some lights. Let's add some drama to this. I'm gonna add some light here. And what I do is like, I sort of enhance. The sun was coming this way. So I'm just, you know, enhancing what was already there, you know. And I just want to, you know, increase. Let me zoom back out. Take the brush again. I'm sorry, take the brush again. Yeah, I just want to enhance a little bit. You know, make it a bit more interesting. So it's not like such a boring light. And I think brush stroke is the one secret to make a photo interesting, because it just, you know, it just adds interest. You know, it complexifies the light and it adds interest. Okay, check it out. Before the brush stroke, after the brush stroke. You know, we brought back some lights into the whole thing. Okay, and vibrance, let's add a bit of vibrance. I like that. I'm gonna add even more magenta to this. Okay, now the sun was here and I want to increase that feeling of the sun. So I'm gonna take the radial filter, which is here. I'm gonna make a big circle. Now, it's kind of weird right now. I'm going to press, you see what's happening is that exposure is on the right. So everything gets brighter except the circle. I don't want that. I want the opposite. So I'm going to invert the mask. Okay. And I just, yeah, I want to boost the exposure. And I want to fake that the sun was there, you know. And to make it even more feather, I'm going to make it bigger, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to move the feathering to the right, so it's going to be a lot more feather. And maybe add some color in it. Add some yellows and add some magenta, just to make sure, like, if the sun was coming from this way, you know. Check it out, before, after. I like that, just makes a little touch, you know, it complexifies the sky even more. Okay, now, the photo is pretty nice. I think I need to add some more brush strokes. So I already liked what I have. I'm just going to create on new. And I just want to add a bit of light here. I think the star is a church, so I'm just going to add a bit of light. Oh, one thing I forgot. You should turn off auto mask when... you should use auto mask and just turn it off, you know, when you have something with a border. But if I'm in the middle of the, you know, of the island, I don't need to have auto mask on, because it's going to create weird things otherwise. Okay, so make sure auto mask is actually off. You only use it when you do the top of the church. Okay, now I added some serious spots of light. Check it out, before, after. Now if you find something is too strong, like for example for me this is a bit too strong, well, you can just locate. You see there is 4 brush stroke on that church. If you go over one of the brush stroke, you can see where I brushed. Okay, I brushed on this one, so I make sure it's selected, and I can press the Alt key and just erase that, and erase that brush stroke, you know, if you think it's too much. It's totally non-destructive, and you can just go back and forth. Okay, now I like that photo. I think I'm gonna add some vignetting to this photo, some post-crop vignetting, something like this, to make it even more dramatic. Maybe even add a bit of more contrast to it, and I'm gonna make it a bit brighter until I've got something that I like. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's see what happens if I go to camera calibration and I go to camera landscape. Sometimes that gives a better result. I kind of like that. Camera landscape makes it a bit brighter. It's kind of cool. Now check it out. Let's see if we have the before. This is the before. Okay, backslash key to get the before, and this is the after. Okay, so it's already a big change. It's already like gone from what is that to, okay, wow, you know, it's already a big change, but can we do better? You know, so there's only 2 things I don't like about this photo as well. There's Mr. Scott Kelby here, which is a lovely man, but I think he's distracting in the photo. I want to take him out. And this construction here really bothers me. There was a lot of construction going on, and I want to take that out. Now, of course, if you have Photoshop, well, you can just do that in Photoshop. Now, what if you only had Lightroom and you did not have Photoshop, and you wanted to erase this and this? Well, the only possibility you would have is to use this tool, which is the spot removal tool. Now, let's try it on this little construction here. Let's paint over the construction, okay, and let go. What it's going to do is that it's going to copy, okay, well, it took something from the water, which is not the right place. So I'm going to say, no, take some of the texture of the sky and put it instead of the constructions. Now, as you can see, the result is not very nice. It's not very nice at all. It's just not made for that. So I'm going to press delete to erase that. Now, if I do it on Scott and try to erase him, I think it's going to give a better result. But it's not going to be perfect. Let's see the result. It's not bad. Okay, let's close this. It's not bad, but you can see, you know, there's a bit like of, you can see there's some weird stuff a bit around, you know, but honestly, on Scott, it works pretty well. But let me still erase that also, because I want to show you, and that's, I mean, if you have Photoshop, you can just do it in Photoshop. But if you don't have Photoshop, there is a software, as I told you in the beginning, called Snapheal, which is offered as part of the 5 days deal, which I'm participating on. And I downloaded it and tried it. It's actually pretty good. You have 2 versions. The one that you have in the $89 does not have the plugin function with Lightroom. You have to buy the Pro version, which is about $40. So to be able to work on that photo, I will need to right-click, export the photo, which I'm going to do. I'm going to export it to the desktop. Okay, and I'm going to make sure it's TIFF format, compression, zip, color space, Pro Photo RGB is fine, bit step 16 bits, and I'm going to rename it as I export it. I'm going to rename it with a custom name. I'm going to call it Mont Saint-Michel. Okay, so I'm exporting it as a TIFF file, okay, on the desktop. All right, and then I'm going to go to, I'm going to launch this Snapheal. Now, I'm not doing the Pro version. I'm just doing the Welcome to Snapheal. I've not explored everything about that software, but I find it pretty cool. Load, import an image. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go on the desktop, Mont Saint-Michel. It's right there. So I double click on it, and here we are. So we are in Snapheal, and check this out. They have this these tools here, and so I can just click. I'm going to take the selection tool, the first one. It's so easy to use. I'm going to zoom in on Scott. Oops, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to zoom in and use the spacebar key. Okay. And let's say I want to erase Scott. Well, I just take this tool, and I can change the diameter of the tool here. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. And I'm going to just erase Mr. Scott Kelby here. All right. And so you have different erasing mode. Twister. Now, if you put your mouse over it, it says Twister, use it for image depicting skies, clouds, multiple small objects. Okay, Twister. Space Shift work best when you want to erase big objects, and Workhole, the mode works best to delete imperfection on skin and with small objects. So I'm going to go for Spaceship and click just erase, and doing magic. And what that's going to do is going to, well, it's going to erase Mr. Kelby. And ta-da! Now you see there is a bit of stuff going on there. You can see a little bit. So let's check Twister. Let's see how Twister is going to do. Let's see if it does a better job. Now you can see even more. All right, let's go for Warhol. Okay, it's funny because the first time I tried it, it was like perfect. And you know why? I think I'm going to go back. The reason I think it didn't work so well is because I used a too small brush. The first time I did it, I made like a big brush like this. Boom, boom. And I clicked on erase. And I think if you make the brush too small, sometimes it doesn't give good results. You just have to try, and you can try the different, it's not bad. You can see a little bit, but it's not bad. Let's go for Space Shift usually works best on this. So you can just click on Spaceship and see how that's gonna go. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. I want to go Spaceship, erase. And so this function not only erase elements, and you have to give it a little try. Let's see how that works. It's not bad. You see a little spot there, but I think nobody's going to notice it so much. And one thing you can do to make it look even better is you can take the clone tool, which is here, and I'm going to make the diameter a bit bigger. And the clone tool just works like in Photoshop. So for example, here, I can just click out here and just paint here and paint here just to make it more random so that we don't see like any brush stroke. I can make the softness even bigger so that there is no like holes or anything. And yeah, just, make this disappear. Okay, so now I want to erase that. So I'm going back to the selection tool, and I'm going to select the house. Now, okay, the diameter on this, I'm going to erase the house. And the first time I tried, so I'm selecting just the house, and I want to see if I can erase it. Okay, and I'm going to use Twister. I think Twister worked the best for the house. And click on erase. It's just, there's construction. I find this a bit distracting. I like the photo, but I don't like so much the construction. Let's see how that works. Hey, not bad at all. And you see it's a bit funky there, so I can just take the clone stem tool and, just copy and paste some stones here, for example. Okay, and maybe, some of the clouds here. Maybe here, just to make it okay, take the softness a bit down. So you can fine-tune with the clone stem tool, but the result is pretty good. I actually love the result. Okay, so now let's take care of the reflection of what was there. So we select the reflection here, and let's click on erase. And yeah, shape shift is probably not the right one. Twister would probably work better. Let's see. And they make joke also as to make you wait, which is, I think, is pretty cool now. Shape. Let's try Twister. I think Twister worked better last time I did that. And if it doesn't work, you always have the clone spot tool. Yeah, see, Twister worked better. Okay, and you can fine tune it, with as I told you, with the clone stem tool. So like, I can click here and maybe, just, yeah, do something like that, or on the reverse, clone a bit here, whatever, whatever it takes, but it's a lot better. So this is the final result, and this is where we came from. That was where we came from, and this is where we are. So, Snapheal is a very nice software if you don't have Photoshop and you need to erase things on your photos. Alright, so I hope you liked that tutorial and you will check out this 5-day deal package. It's really amazing, and it's ending very soon, in about 2 days. So take opportunity to grab it now, because it's a lot of software, texture, and knowledge. Thank you very much for being there, and I'll see you in the next episode.